Welcome to show. I am Clint, and I am here with
Devo.
I'm Lucho.
And today we are paying homage to, I would say, one of the greatest sci-fi franchises in film history.
Film history.
And that's the Alien franchise, created by, actually, I don't think it's created by, but
it was portrayed in film.
By Ridley Scott.
Because by the time this episode comes out, Tuesday, April 26th, it will be Alien Day.
That's right.
And you know, the interesting thing is the first Alien movie came out in 1979. So that means that they probably were working on that movie for maybe a couple years before it released.
That's right.
So that means the genesis of this character and this alien and the world that the movie exists in is damn near 40 years old.
Is this like a book that it's based off of, or is it just like something that Ridley Scott created?
He's just like, I want to make an alien movie.
No, it's probably like a coalition of people. They're like, well, we have a Xenomorph here and a Xenomorph here. Let's create this type of thing.
Let me explain to you guys the genesis for this for the Alien franchise.
All right, here we go.
There's two people that created it. The last names were O'Bannon and Schusted. I forgot their first names, but they created the idea behind an alien. And one of them, I think it was O'Bannon, was influenced by an artist called H.R. Geiger. I don't know if you're familiar with his work. And he had a book called the Necronomicon. Yeah. And it had this profound effect on him. And one of the creatures in there was a xenomorph-like creature.
Did you have to say Klaatu Verada Nectu to open the book?
No, that's the one to disclose it.
And the Army of Darkness.
A little bit of Evil Dead there.
Young kids might not know that one. And that book was in the original film, or in the original Evil Dead film, or it only appeared in Army of Darkness?
That's an essential part.
That's basically what the Evil Dead franchise is about.
The movies, the Army of Darkness, the new
Evil Dead one,
the new Evil Dead
remake
TV show.
Yeah. Oh, Ash versus the
Ash versus Evil Dead. Yeah. Well, anyways,
so they conceived this script about that particular Geiger monster that looked like what we know as the alien, and that became like the prototype, the proto version of it.
So is that the pic? Because I've seen some of these pictures, and I thought they were inspired by the movie, and because I know that the alien and the whole the look of the alien and the ship and all that, it was inspired by Geiger. But I saw pictures of the alien where it's like it's got like the long head. Yeah. It's got these weird like pointy nipples and shit like that. Like I thought that was inspired by the movie. I'm assuming now to me it sounds like that inspired the alien.
Not only did that inspire the alien, but actually the alien itself is designed by H.R. Geiger. Like they worked with him on the movie.
Yeah, that I knew.
So the alien itself is like a retooling of that original thing. And when they first had this idea of the alien, and they had like if you even look at the face hugger, like the idea behind the face hugger is like it has this proboscis, this phallic imagery that it has going down the throat, and it's like it has these like sexual undertones to it. And the alien itself was supposed to have like a sexual idea where it quote, the guy says it could easily fuck you before it killed you. So the way they made the body itself was like this very sleek, very sexual sort of
extremely long tail.
Exactly, right? Long tail and even had
a name for penetration.
And even look at the way in which it kills, right? A lot of times the alien itself doesn't actually like grab you and rip you up or bite you. It really actually punctures through you with that inner mouth that it has. And that's also another like a sexual undertone.
Or it'll penetrate you with the tail.
Exactly. And then the other thing too is about the acid and so forth, that you have this, I don't want to go into it, but you could take an idea of what the acid is another metaphor for as well. But they also based it on like ants and bees and the way in which the culture of the alien, like this is obviously stuff that was created after the original Alien film, with aliens and James Cameron and stuff and the Queen and all this stuff like that, because that idea didn't even come about until later.
It was like it was before. It was just this one xenomorph. When James Cameron got it was a hive type mentality.
Because I know in the first movie it was really just a space horror.
Exactly. It wasn't even, I don't even think it was a horror. I think it was a space thriller, because you really didn't see the alien until like 3/4 of the movie, once it got onto the ship. You see the little thing popping out of that fool's gut.
But that scene itself is like
that's
one of the quintessential scenes when you talk about science fiction film.
First of all,
and it is horror.
Him getting the face sucker on him, appearing with the thing with the when they take off the helmet and the face hugger's there. And then, of course, when that fool's just eating his, his food, and the black guy's talking about eating pussy, and the guy fucking shit pussy.
No, it's true.
That's the truth.
It's true.
You watch Alien, that's what he's talking about. And right when he starts talking about that, that's when he starts getting sick.
Yeah.
And,
By the way, John Hurt, young as hell in that movie.
Hell
yeah.
This fool's like the old guy who's like on his deathbed in movies now. And this fool was hella young.
He was
in that
young
movie.
in that one.
Yep.
But really, that's a quintessential part of a film, film history right there.
It got replicated in Spaceballs.
Spaceballs.
And I mean, it's like I said, if you're gonna make a montage of the most, you put Darth Vader up there, you put whoever up there, like that scene of the chest burster, they're called at that point, coming out. You would be more likely to see that image than you would of an actual alien, like a full grown xenomorph. That's how iconic it is.
You would see a facehugger or the chest buster. That's what you would see.
Yeah. So, and I was thinking about this when I was watching a little bit of Alien Resurrection. They almost made them closer to raptors in a sense, in the way that at least the way that they portray raptors in like Jurassic Park, where they're like these packing like a wolf,
pack mentality. Yeah.
And they had that because if in the original Alien film there was only one, and then in the second Alien film there were more like ants kind of and bees and so forth, but by the time you got to the fourth Alien film they were like and I feel like there is this element that there's a different animal that each alien is sort of modeled after in each film to an extent as well. So do you guys think that the Alien franchise itself sort of is because it's like a rated R film, right? So when you want to compare it to, it's tough to compare the Alien franchise to Star Wars or Star Trek because these movies are like broader range. So Alien is not going to have that type of broad range. But if you want to compare it to like other sci-fi things, because if you look at some of these other sci-fi monsters, they're not franchises like this.
Yeah. Well, the thing is though, is that one's like Star Wars is like a sci-fi opera. Yeah, that's what I would consider Star Wars. It's like this grand thing that it's an opera, really. It's a space opera. That's what Star Wars is. Aliens, on the other hand, it was either a sci-fi horror or, depending on who you ask, a sci-fi thriller.
Like I said, horror.
Or if you get to, I feel like Alien 3 and Resurrection are more action.
It's true.
It's even true.
Aliens is an action film.
More action films.
I mean, I think you could maybe compare
Alien 3 not so much.
I mean, the original Alien, people compare that to like a Hitchcockian like thriller, People compare it like it's one of the classics.
Aliens is good.
Horror.
Alien is good.
Not even just sci-fi, just horror.
That's the problem. I don't think Alien is a horror. I think it's a thriller because you don't know what you're going against up until the very end.
And the crazy thing is,
I can correlate Alien with like Friday the 13th, right? Like you've got this group of people, they're doing a thing and they're being hunted, and there's one central hunter. And in Alien, it's growing from this chest burster to an actual alien being, and the people, in order to survive, have to hunt it. Right. And it's kind of like with Friday the 13th, like we didn't know who the killer was, and at the end, spoiler alert, it's Jason's mom.
Yeah, exactly.
So to me, it's got that
mystery.
It's that mystery that it's a mysterious horror, as opposed to like a thriller, to where it's. I mean, I can't even think of a thriller movie right now.
Either way, if you were gonna compare sci-fi, like space science fiction, I think you would probably compare what is it? What is that movie with
Predator?
No, Fishborn in it.
Event Horizon. Actually, the original Alien movie, Event Horizon has to be influenced by it.
Exactly.
In so many ways.
I agree. I totally
because if
agree.
you even look at if you go back and watch the original Alien, the way in which it's shot, and actually Prometheus does an interesting job of this. Actually,
I agree.
Of the ship itself is a thing. You know what I mean? It's a part of the film itself. It's like its own character.
Yeah.
And it shows that.
And
like
so
that's the first thing you're introduced. This is in also the type of thing that's in 2001: A Space Odyssey. And first of all, I find it interesting.
That's a thriller.
It is a thriller.
That's a thriller.
I find it interesting that this type of film came out in 1979 because if you go back 20 years, the type of thing that in which people viewed as horror is nothing like this movie.
Yeah, no,
like it's not only is it have the psychological, but it's graphic.
Yeah,
it's very graphic.
Yeah.
Very graphic. Yeah.
Yeah, because
what did you guys? What's your first memory of the original Alien film? because I remember that before I remember any of the other Alien movies. Maybe you guys, that wasn't your guys' first, but I remember when I saw it, it was like on TV, and I saw the space jockey, and then you see the alien, and there's commercials and everything. But that, when you're young, that's all the only exposure you have to it. And I remember thinking it was like this thing that was enigmatic.
For me, my first experience with actually the entire franchise was Aliens.
Yeah,
and I remember Ripley the power. Yeah, well, I remember Ripley the power lifter, Newt. They only come out at night.
Man, came over.
Yeah,
fucking came over, man. Came over, man.
Hicks falling asleep on the descent. Stuff like that. But going back and watching Alien, I, being a younger person, gosh, maybe 8, 9, 10-ish, I found it boring because it didn't have the action, Mm-hmm. And when you're a kid, blowing stuff up, burning things, that's what you do. But with Alien, it wasn't about that. It was about struggling to survive and trying to kill this thing. And they didn't know what it was. They didn't know how to kill it. And I don't know. To me, it just didn't have that experience. And thinking back, some of my first memories of that movie are definitely that chest burster. And one scene where I think it's Dallas. Mm-hmm. He's walking by. Yeah, the captain. He's walking by down some corridor, and he looks up, and then you see the alien kind of unravel, jump on him, and then that's it. That's he's done.
No, I remember. I totally agree with you. It was my feeling was the same way. I remember because I didn't watch Alien until I was well into my teens. Right, or maybe just like 13 or something like that.
Yeah,
and by that point, I saw Predator.
Yep.
I saw Predator 2.
Yeah,
Aliens. I didn't really see Aliens 3 until later because Aliens 3 you have to appreciate Alien.
We were,
but I
8th grade or freshman year when that movie came out. Right?
I just didn't see it though. There was other. Predators is a great movie.
I remember.
A great movie.
I was 6 years old, and my father and my uncle took me to the theater to go watch Predator.
No, well, there you go. And so when I watched Alien initially, I thought it was really, really boring. Not until I started, appreciating film for what it really is. I thought Aliens is a great piece of cinema. It really is. Because what it builds you, it brings you in. It's this mundane, mining ship stuck in space. That's what it is. And they happen upon a derelict ship. They don't know what it is, but it ends up being.
It's funny that you mentioned that because I couldn't help but thinking earlier today when I was watching a little bit of it that there's this point in the movie where how there's a point in the movie where like any movie, if something goes different, the movie basically doesn't take place, right?
Exactly.
So if they don't go investigate this, the movie doesn't take place. And guess who's the person that's saying, I ain't doing this shit? The brother. He says, I ain't doing this shit. And then Ian Holm tells him, there's something in the contract where if you don't like investigate anything that's out there, you forfeit your money. He's like, oh, well, come on, man. You ain't got to say all that.
And ultimately,
it's funny because they had that thing where like, oh, why white people always got to be investigating shit, But realistically, if you...
To be fair, that was a pre-programmed robot.
It was pre-programmed. Ultimately, ultimately was
by the corporation.
Yeah. Ultimately,
that's my point. If you're the corporation, this is a realistic thing.
Yeah.
But continue.
Yeah. Well, so you have this mundane ship going back to Earth with a full load of minerals that happens upon a derelict ship. Right, it's a boring concept, really.
This is like a concept, like you asked, is this from a book? Like it really is the concept of a novel, than a film in some ways.
And like half the film is them going there and then ultimately finding this derelict ship, and that's when shit hits the fan.
Exactly.
And then you get face huggers, your chest busters. You got a crazy android, which they didn't know was an android, by the way.
Yeah,
they did not know that. What's the guy played?
Ian Holm played the character.
Ian Holmes.
I forget the character's name.
He's an android. They didn't know he was.
Yeah.
So they thought he was just
Ash.
a science. Ash. Yeah, they just thought he was a science officer up until the black dude hit him with the piece of metal and white stuff milk came out of his neck. But
another thing of sexual undertone, right?
Exactly. So, maybe not half, but at least for the first third of the film is pretty mundane.
It is.
Yeah. So, and then all of a sudden you have is the
comparison to Hitchcock, right?
Exactly. So you have this great piece of film, but I couldn't appreciate it until I realized what it really was.
Yeah.
It's way better than Part 2. Part 2 is a great action film.
Oh yeah.
It's a great action. If you want to just sit down and vegetate, boom. part 2.
Yeah.
But Alien's a great piece of film.
Definitely.
Great piece of film.
So the Alien franchise itself, like the universe that it exists in. How would you guys rate? I don't want to say rate, but how would you guys view that universe as compared to like the fleshing out of like other universes? Like, do you feel like there's still a lot that is unsaid? Do you feel like it's maybe unrealistic? Do you feel like it's more realistic than other ones?
Well, you got to take it with anything that has to do with aliens. You have to take it with what it is. It's sci-fi, right?
And also, isn't the world of Aliens set in the future?
It is.
It is.
I think the first movie is maybe 200 years in the future.
Yeah,
150 years.
It's quite a bit in the future.
Yeah.
The
if you go look this
film.
up, there's actually like some timelines out there that will explain to you year by year when these movies are taking place.
Aliens 4 is like 400 years.
No, it's I want to say it's 50 or 80 years after Alien 3, and I want to say Alien 3 is
it's like hundreds of years after. I watched it so many. It's like hundreds of years.
400
after.
years or something.
Yeah,
but I know Alien 3 is like 50 years.
Yeah.
After Alien 2.
So Alien
and Aliens is like, within our lifetime, so it's a couple years later.
So Alien happens, right? And it's like 21, 50, 45 or something like that. And then Aliens 2 happens, and it's like 35 years that she's been stuck in space for 40 years. Because
her kid's all grown up.
Her like 10-year-old child is like 54.
Yeah, she's all grown up.
Yeah, she's all grown up. Exactly. Between Aliens and Aliens 3, that's the one that it's not that much. It's like maybe a few years.
No, I thought it was long too.
No, it's like 10 years.
She's still alive.
No, it's like 10 years. But no, between
because she's in cryo.
Between 2 and 3 it's like 10 years. It's not that many.
Okay.
What the big jump is from Alien 3 to Alien Resurrection.
Okay.
It's literally like 200-300 years. Because she talks about like 28, 42 and shit like that.
Back in my day.
Yeah.
And wasn't Winona a
Alien 1 takes place
well?
in 2122.
Okay, there you go. 2122.
Keep going. You guys take that.
So
Winona Ryder, her character was an android?
Or she was like like an artificial android, like Series 4, which is like they call it, what the hell they call it? They call it the I forgot.
Some sort of replica thing.
The replicant, yeah.
Yeah.
Replicon.
Because Ripley knew right off the bat.
Yeah.
Because she had the alien power inside of her.
So it was
Alien 3 is in like 2168. So it's quite a bit.
When's Aliens?
I don't know. It doesn't say that.
Yeah, it's so it was what the first
Alien Resurrection is about 200 years.
Yeah, I told you it's like a long time happened between
200 years later.
three and
and it's actually they were even saying in that movie that the Whaling Corporation is done.
It's done. There's
like decades before that.
There is none before. Yeah,
it's actually gone.
It's just there.
It's like
government.
it's United Systems Military they called it. And because are you guys familiar with Dead Space? The game, like that franchise reminds me a lot of this franchise, where it's like they're mining and so forth. And
that is like it's almost like the Alien franchise meets the Thing franchise.
Yeah,
really.
I agree.
And it's weird because obviously the Predator franchise is in the same universe as the Alien universe.
Right.
It almost feels like the Thing could be in the same universe as well.
Yeah.
And it's this thing where I feel like the Alien franchise is one franchise where a lot of other sci-fi creatures could exist in this franchise.
That means Batman's in that universe too?
That's right.
Batman versus Predator? RoboCop?
Yeah. In that same
RoboCop and Batman.
Yeah.
Batman versus RoboCop?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So if the aliens can be in the universe where all these other creatures like predators and stuff, like what would you guys like to see the Alien franchise interact with other than predators from this point forward?
That's a good question.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, the problem is that okay. So you look back at like the 80s like action or sci-fi stuff. You know what? And most of it's like humans versus the aliens, and our human plight to beat back the alien plague type thing. That's really what it is most of the time. Every so often you'll find like later on it was predators versus aliens. I don't know. I guess Terminator versus the aliens in some weird. But
I mean, they'd be really susceptible because of the acid.
They would, but they wouldn't be any more susceptible than a human. I mean, the human they'd get killed too.
Yeah.
See, I'd like to see something like maybe even like X-Men versus the aliens, because X-Men had because they had the Brood, which is essentially
it really is essentially
a knockoff of the whole Xenomorph thing.
Really?
Yeah,
really
they look
is.
almost exactly like it's like a I don't know the Xenomorph with wings or something.
Yeah, they're like
as much as they can do without getting sued.
Exactly.
The Brood is more bug-like instead of like
Okay.
skeletal xenomorphic.
Yeah, but they got the same head structure, all that sort of stuff.
And instead of like an elongated one, it's like an elongated and a flat. Thing,
and like I think of a situation like the Alien vs Predator movie where they're going through the history of the hunt. And they're showing two of the predators like on top of this temple, and it's just nothing but waves and waves and waves of xenomorphs coming after them, and they have to like drop a nuke in order just to wipe them all out.
Yeah.
Like something like that to where it's aliens but times 10, where you've got this just huge manifest of just all these xenomorphs, and you've got to maybe they're on Earth or something like that, and you just have to wipe them out, because that's another thing too is like we've never seen these creatures make their way to Earth. Like what happens if a xenomorph or even a xenomorph queen it lands on Earth?
I mean, the Queen in Alien vs Predator was on Earth.
Yeah, but it didn't make it to mass population.
Right.
Like
No.
She got wiped out. And then even like AVP2, right? Like it was the Pred alien thing.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
What I would like to see is, I don't know if our listeners are aware of the Alien vs Predator game. The Alien vs Predator game, the one on arcade, actually that was the whole premise, where like
it was on Earth.
It was on Earth, and
I didn't remember that.
And aliens escaped, but dumbass humans, probably the Whaling Corporation,
we want to like
that were breeding them.
Shit. Yeah, exactly.
We're the ones breeding them to weaponize them.
Yep.
They escape. Here come the predators. The Space Marines were like, well, shit, we need some help. You know what? The predators came up and helped us, and our common enemy becomes friends type thing.
Yeah.
So, and that's pretty much the premise for that game. I actually would like to see that. I would like to see
in a movie.
In a movie, yeah, why not?
Because the Alien vs Predator movie, the very end where it's the Predator and that chick, that's very reminiscent of the comic book.
Very reminiscent,
because in the
exactly.
comic book there was, I forgot what her name was, but it was this human that kind of got accepted into a Predator clan. And she was like wearing like the entire like Predator gear and all that. She had her own mask and a shoulder cannon. Like she was essentially a Predator.
Yeah.
A member of that that particular clan, and she was helping them to hunt these aliens.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I thought that'd be a great one. Like I don't understand why they didn't make AVP2 with her, and like
have her continue.
Yeah, have her continue and be like part of that clan comes back down.
Yeah.
And like be some sort of infestation in like on an island or somewhere that they may escape, because they can swim. They'll be able to swim, like the aliens can swim. They'll be able to swim off.
Yeah.
But so they would have to keep them there on that island or something. And I don't see why that they wouldn't come down and look for her to help them fight these. But Requiem was all right, I guess. But I thought Part 1 was better.
Part 1.
You know what's funny? There's a name for the predator species. It's like Yultani or something like that. I don't know if you guys.
No, Yultani is the Whaling Yutani. It's
no, I mean there's another.
I know what you're talking
about.
It's
like starts with a Y or something. I can't. I'd have to look it up again. But
I'll look it up.
Yeah, look it up. So the second part of that question is, what creature, what being in anywhere that you've seen would you think would be not only the coolest, but maybe the most powerful iteration of a xenomorph?
Like if a facehugger got on there.
Yes.
Oh man.
I remember from so there was a toy line that spawned from the Alien vs Predator comics.
Yeah.
And they would have like a bull predator or bull alien, right?
Yeah.
They would have what was cool is that they have these little mini comics to explain how that alien came about. And so it would show the human space marines and the predators going on, I don't know, somewhere in Idaho or something, right? And a facehugger got onto a bull and became this bull alien. And so they did things like that to kind of explain where that came from. So, just go down the entire list of what we have.
I don't even know. Anything would be cool, to be honest.
Like, dude, imagine if a facehugger. Well, no, but even just our entire, our own Earth. Like, imagine if a giant whale got fucking a face hugger on it.
I think
just going through the ocean, just destroying everything.
I think you'd have to keep away like super powerful entities like Darkseid. I think Darkseid would be able to just do mental powers and keep the thing away from it.
Right.
But it would have to be
Hulk.
Hulk too. I think Hulk would be able to just go wah, just like shut his throat.
Probably.
Or he'd like find it in his stomach and go like whoosh.
Isn't the facehugger supposed to paralyze you? or it puts you in a coma.
Well, once it's got inside of you, but like I'm sure Hulk would be able to like chomp down. Even the axe probably wouldn't.
Well, you're just talking about like just an animal or something.
No,
so what about like
Hulk could be susceptible to that because he became a zombie in the Marvel Zombies.
True, but everyone became a zombie except for
Magneto.
I
mean, what about like a Rancor though, or something, or a
Rancor? That'd be crazy. A Rancor,
an alien
Rancor. That'd be crazy.
Dude, no. Alien Jabba the Hutt.
Alien Jabba the Hutt.
Slithering around, just shooting his little tongue at bitches.
Or an alien crate dragon.
That'd be cool.
Damn, that'd be crazy. So the possibilities are out there.
They're endless, basically.
They're endless, obviously, and these are all speculations.
But I'm curious, like, do you think that the intelligence of the Xenomorph is dependent on what it goes from? Because I mean, do you feel like the dog alien was any less intelligent than some of the human ones?
I think it comes down to where the facehuggers come from, because I think like the dog alien and the original Xenomorph, which was an alien queen, like just a regular alien queen.
The original Xenomorph? What do you mean? The original Xenomorph
for part one.
It's not his queen.
No, I'm talking about that one wasn't a human queen. That was just a regular. That was just a queen that was there. Who knows what kind of queen that was?
What are you talking about?
The one from Alien, that Xenomorph.
That's a queen Xenomorph?
No, it's not.
No, I'm not saying it's a queen Xenomorph.
It's just a regular.
That's a regular Xenomorph.
Regular human one.
But it didn't come from like a human queen like the ones in part 4.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah. So you're saying the queen itself is mutated from humans, whereas the alien queen that was on the derelict spaceship is from some other
one. So
she's a pure blood.
She's a pure blood, exactly. So I think when the queen herself has genetic like human DNA in it, the Xenomorphs that created are smarter.
And then there's this idea of like collective consciousness that they've talked about in multiple alien movies, they know the history of all the aliens that have ever existed, all the Xenomorphs that have ever existed. They have a collective consciousness.
That's weird.
So that's why they can not only I think it's like facilitated by their, they mature very quickly within hours. Obviously. From their chest burster to the time they're a full-grown Xenomorph. So at that point, like, a human, when you're a baby, like, you have to learn these things. And I think that was like an aspect that they looked at when they're talking about the newborn. Yeah. That the newborn had so much human-like qualities that it was like a baby in the sense, right? But the alien Xenomorphs are, I would say, definitely more instinctual, definitely more naturally vicious than the newborn. Didn't have, like, the newborn looked like it had like emotions to an extent.
Yeah.
Well, whereas this one, the regular Xenomorph, doesn't have emotions. It's just a pure killer. But the thing is that they are intelligent. They're not dumb, and they have it right off the bat. But they're beyond intelligent of like a regular animal. Like, they actually have like problem-solving skills.
Right.
That are things that even animals that mature very quickly in the wild that learn based on instinct, they don't have those problem-solving skills. They have to learn them through like example.
Yeah.
But these Xenomorphs have that, and that idea was that they have a collective consciousness that's in there as well.
That's interesting.
That's definitely part of it. That's definitely been part of it. And it's a big reason why they talked about it in Alien Resurrection that Ripley knew the history of the Xenomorphs.
Yeah.
And she could like feel them like, She was I don't want to say telepathically, but it was like
felt it.
She felt it.
It was a sense.
It was
a sense. There you go. Like exactly.
She felt where they were and when they were coming, and like she felt the queen when she was in pain, and her kid.
Yeah.
And her kid like didn't see the queen as her mom. She saw Ripley as her mom, as its mom. So
I don't know about you guys, but I always had this thing. First of all, Alien Resurrection, like, to me, I felt uncomfortable watching some scenes, especially where they showed like all the 7 previous clones, because she was number 8.
And it's all like distorted.
That was, I don't know when that movie came out, but I remember I was like maybe in 97. So I was in high school, and I remember seeing that. It was like jolting. I was like, because this was like when cloning was like one of the things that we talked about as like this theoretical idea, right? Yeah. Like in movies, and now it's like obviously a real thing could happen. But when they showed that, it was like very jolting to me and very jarring. I was like, gosh, And then I remember when the newborn came about and was around, and like it showed that it had some sort of emotions and it cared about her. And when it got sucked out, it actually looked like it was scared.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. There was something about that. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but maybe Gooch is probably going to downplay this and tell I'm dumb. But there was something about it that like tugged at my heartstrings. I don't know why.
And then, when we were kids, it's different. I actually didn't get to see it until later. I heard that it wasn't very good, so I didn't see it.
Yeah, I mean, of all the aliens, it's definitely the weakest one. For me, I I don't know. I personally didn't like it because it was too different from the Xenomorph. And when I went into that movie, it's like the beautiful thing about Aliens, Alien 3 is the Xenomorph. Like, that's what these movies are. And now this is, like, Ripley having, the Xenomorph type abilities and being, her DNA spliced with the Xenomorph is one thing. But you've got this thing that's like a white Xenomorph that's got a human face with skull-like features on it. Like, I didn't like that. And so when it got sucked out the hole, and it's just like, meh, meh, meh. It's like, okay, big deal. Like, this is the thing I didn't like that's getting sucked out and split into a bunch of pieces. I don't care.
Yeah.
And even when it was getting sucked out, it didn't look like it had acid blood. It looked like it was like orange, blood. And it was more human like. So it's like, yeah, good riddance.
When I watch it again, like I take it for what it is. It's an action film. That's what it really is. And I thought it was okay.
Just another vehicle for Ron Perlman.
Exactly.
So before we finish this episode off, because we're gonna do another one, obviously. You mentioned that Alien Resurrection is the worst of the Alien franchise films.
Yes.
What would you guys say is the best?
Oh, Alien by far.
I personally
and your favorite, best and favorite. These could be two different things.
Even over.
Just Alien.
No, this is the Alien franchise. So it could be any of the Alien, any movie where a Xenomorph or appears, including Prometheus.
Even Prometheus.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Prometheus is my favorite.
Yeah.
Alien might be the best one, but when I watch it again, like, they have these movies where they make, like, they have computer screens or they have, like, ships and stuff like that, and, like, oh, the ship is really dark. Like, no human's gonna really make a ship that's dark like that, Like, we're human beings. We want to be in light,
Yeah.
And I understand why they did it, but, like, some of the stuff in it looks very dated.
Well,
like, it looks like if we were to, in 100 years from now, our spaceships aren't gonna look like that. And yeah, Prometheus has that over it, but I think there's something about Prometheus that fascinates me that I can't quite figure out. That's why I like it. Where Alien is it's a genre film, and Prometheus is something else. I feel I don't even know what to put my finger on it. So I would say Prometheus is my favorite, but the best movie probably is Alien 1.
I'm gonna stick with it.
For me, my best would be Aliens.
Yes,
and then my favorite would be Alien vs Predator.
That's a good film. I actually like it.
I like that.
People shit on it all the time, but to me, it's got all the things I love about the Predators, all the things I love about Aliens. Fine ass black woman leading the way, leading the charge.
Is really attractive,
gorgeous, and it from start to finish. To me, it was absolutely enjoyable.
Yeah, I loved it.
I loved every second of the movie.
Great.
As corny as most of it was, as stupid as some of it was, like
whatever's good.
It's like. To me, like, it wasn't a perfect rendition of what the Alien vs. Predator comic was, but to me, I thought that was a fantastic foundation for what they could have done, and then they shit the bed with Alien vs. Predator 2.
Especially the ending with the Predalien bursting out.
Yeah.
That was dope.
Yeah. It's like that was the cliffhanger, like, oh shit, now I need to see the sequel. Exactly. And then you saw the sequel, like, no. I did not need that.
All right, we'll see you guys in a couple days.
Bye-bye.
Final report of the commercial starship Nostromo. Third officer reporting. The other members of the crew, Kane, Lambert, Parker, Brett, Ash, and Captain Dallas are dead. Cargo and ship destroyed. I should reach the frontier in about 6 weeks. With a little luck, the network will pick me up. This is Ripley, last survivor of the Nostromo. Signing off.